If you like the content here, please consider liking and becoming a member today. Authors and artists work really hard on the stuff, so please support them using the links below. What's up everyone? This is going to be more of a hybrid video than we normally do here, as there's only a handful of manga chapters of the series produced, ranging from Goku's arrival back to Earth after the defeat of Frieza, to the initial battle with the androids. However, there is a much more comprehensive fanfic, but I'm sick of stories on this channel not getting finished, so we're going to do the best we can. The Tale of Chiyo, the daughter of Goku, was created by ArtByLux / Whitethorn Wolf / Asher Abrahams, and I initially tried everything to recover the missing manga. Well, I mean, Google and the Wayback Machine. Then it occurred to me, why not just ask the author directly? And while basic communication skills aren't my strongest skill, she was kind enough to provide everything she had to make this video as good as it could be. So big thank you to Asher for that. And also having pre-written a summary which helps fills in the blanks where there is no manga, which I will shamelessly be using as a guide. So please support her on Patreon, where you can also download the manga. And if you can't do that, at least give her some love on her Tumblr account. And lastly, you can also read the fanfic using the links below. Son Chiyo, the daughter of Goku and Chi-Chi, was born only days after Earth's hero fell in his battle against Raditz. As Piccolo would forcibly take Gohan to train in preparation for the Saiyan arrival, she would not meet her father or brother for about another year. On the day of her birth, naturally, Chi-Chi and her dad, the Ox King, were the only familiar faces at her delivery. Not looking quite like a Goten, Ox suggests Chiyo, after Chi-Chi's mother. Making sense because Gohan was named for Goku's fallen caregiver as well. After Vegeta retreats in defeat, this moment of peace didn't last long, but a father would get the opportunity to at least hold his daughter, as Gohan and Goku soon leave for Namek not much later. But as time passes, Chiyo, now almost as old as Gohan when first taken to Kame House, is in for a surprise. With Frieza and his father vanquished, and the task of training for 3 years is upon them, Goku and his son head for Mount Paozu, to home and to family. Gohan tells his father he bets he's excited to finally see Chiyo again, not believing she even remembers him, but Goku is distracted by his growling stomach. Shouting, "Earth to Dad!" He gets his attention, but he completely zoned out on the previous statement. His son assures him not to worry about it nonetheless, before recommending they hurry. Maybe his mom won't be so mad if he sees him with them. Agreeing, Goku also states, "And it's lunchtime!" Not taking long to make it home, Gohan points out his sister beneath a tree, then announces he's gonna go catch a fish for later. Touching down, Goku greets the young girl. Sensing her ki, he can immediately tell this is definitely his kid. But Chiyo runs away, crying after her mother. And the mama hawk she is, Chi-Chi stomps out rolling up her sleeves, demanding to know what's going on. Then, noticing who it is, diving into her husband's arms, before being nudged that he believes they have an audience. Properly introducing him, she calls for Chiyo to come over, informing her this is her dad. But she seems uncharacteristically coy, though much like her brother at that age. Speaking of which, she then spots Gohan descending from the air. Sure enough, with that fish she was speaking of. Chi-Chi barks at her son, asking where he's been, but Goku only compliments him on the nice catch. Elated to see her brother, Chiyo wants him to take her fishing too, but he's a bit reluctant having just gotten back and all. A bit later, Goku explains to Chi-Chi how Trunks warned them of the android threat and would like to take Chiyo to train with he and Gohan, but she's not too thrilled on the idea, arguing it's not for another 3 years, and she could be a really big help. His wife inquires if Gohan wasn't enough for him. Now he wants to put their daughter in danger as well. Changing tune, Chi-Chi barks, "Fine, but don't let Piccolo anywhere near my baby." But the Saiyan warrior knows she won't be a baby forever. She'll get stronger. And sure enough, with discipline, training, dedication, and time, she would. And the 3 years come and go in the blink of an eye. The morning of May 12th had arrived, and it was time to put those learned skills to the test. "It was foolish to bring the girl along with us." Disagreeing, Goku states she trained like the rest of them, insisting she'll be fine. Reluctantly, the Namek goes along, but believes she'll just get in the way, causing Chiyo to shoot a cold glare at old Big Green. Ahead, Gohan spots Krillin. Approaching their longtime ally, Goku solicits why the long face. Not happy to see their friends after such a lengthy period. But this is Krillin, and they're about to go to battle with some killer cyborgs, muttering, "We're not all Super Saiyans, you know." Then laying eyes on a new face, inquiring if this is Chiyo, echoing Piccolo's thoughts. He suggests it may not be the best idea for her to tag along, but reflecting himself, Goku believes she'll be just fine after training for so long. Approaching their destination, they peer over the city. Noting with all the people around, the situation just got worse. Stating aloud, Gohan notes they'll have to find a way to lure the android somewhere else. When Chiyo points out, there are a few people on that cliff. As they head over to see who it is, we're met with Bulma, Yamcha, and Tien. While Chiyo recognizes Bulma, the others are a mystery. Landing, Goku asks why Bulma decided to come, as she only stands to put herself in danger. But naturally, Bulma just wanted to get a glimpse of these androids, and will go home as soon as she does. Krillin, stating the obvious, questions if the scientist is carrying what he thinks she's carrying. Before Gohan blurts out, her and Yamcha must have gotten married. However, he chides they not put that evil on him, as they broke up years ago, and they won't believe who the father actually is. Walking up to the little guy, Goku grins, "It's Vegeta, isn't it, Trunks?" Causing mass bewilderment to Bulma, because she hasn't told anyone yet. Looking to her brother for guidance, Chiyo asks who Vegeta is. Stammering, Goku gasps that he does kind of look like him, maybe it's just his eyes. Upon stating he even guessed his name, the Saiyan resolves that he must be psychic.
Is this any time to catch up on family gossip? Where Vegeta is what matters now.
Wondering how she should know, Bulma at least reassures that he's been training hard for this day, so he'll probably show up any minute. Goku remains confident he'll arrive soon. That's when Tien explains he had to leave Chaozu behind. This battle would be too much for him. Having been a few years, Bulma asks Chiyo if that's really her, who promptly greets her, saying it's great to see her again, assuming she came along to watch her father battle. But the young girl states that's not the case, affirming she's gonna fight too. While looking over the city, Tien alerts everyone they should only have about 30 minutes to go. Chiyo finds herself distracted, and Bulma questions Goku if they cut off her tail. But before it can be answered, Piccolo announces someone is coming, but he senses no evil intent. As Chiyo discovers a familiar-looking frog, Goku gets excited thinking it could be Vegeta, but Piccolo merely reiterates, this entity bears no malice. Careening in while everyone watches, Goku shouts it's Yajirobe. Plopping out of the car, Goku queries if he came to fight too. But nah, he's just here because Korin made him, delivering some senzu beans. After handing him off, he turns to leave immediately. Upon being asked if he's sure he doesn't want to help, he quips, unlike these idiots, he has no death wish. As he speeds away, Chiyo can only think that guy wasn't very nice. Speaking up again, Tien points out there's something wrong. It's already past 10 and there's no sign of the androids. Yamcha chiming in with he knew it was a hoax from the beginning. Bulma reminding it was claimed they would arrive around 10, not exactly on the dot, and it's only a quarter after at the moment. Making a good argument with the knowledge they have, Yamcha questions if they're so powerful, why has no one been able to sense them yet? If they were anywhere on Earth, they should have picked up on it by now. As Yajirobe's car explodes in the sky.
It's the androids!
Further, they can't sense their ki at all. Gohan deduces that maybe since they're androids, they don't possess actual ki, putting a fist through Yamcha's theory. Deciding they'll have to hunt him down the old-fashioned way, Goku directs the game plan. Spread out but don't corner him. If anyone finds him, let everyone else know. Tossing the senzu beans to Bulma, he yells for Gohan to help Yajirobe. Hopefully he's okay.
Let's go!
Making their way into the city, Goku then commands his daughter to stay close, surveying the area from above. Chiyo touches down to see if she can find anything on foot, wondering to herself what an android even looks like. She figures to keep her eyes peeled for anything weird. Though, in only seconds, the young girl believes she's gotten herself lost. When an explosion rocks the area only feet behind her, she jumps into the air to assess the situation, noticing immediately someone's ki is draining. As she tries to get a beat on what's going on from above, she soon recognizes the downed figure as none other than Yamcha. Landing instead of alerting the others, who should be on their way sensing their alien comrade, 19 states there's a 95% probability this young girl is a descendant or relative of Son Goku, causing Chiyo to wonder how he knows her father's name. Coming back to her senses at the sight of blood dripping from Yamcha, she shouts for him to put him down. Of course, they do no such thing, and 19 only carries on stating statistics, noting Chiyo's name, and that she's a subclass A human. The fear beginning to grip the child, she stutters her question, pleading how they know her name. Smugly, the fiend smiles, they know everything about her. Now silent. Dro finally loosens his grip on the fighter, quickly running over to see if he's okay. He doesn't respond to any of her calls. Knowing she must stall for time till her father and the others arrive, Chiyo can only wonder how she got herself into this mess. Dro looking on stone-faced. Backing down, Goku commands his daughter to wait before telling Krillin Yamcha is still alive and to take him back with the others carrying the senzus. With no time wasted.
So these are the androids. We get to see you at long last.
Piccolo's words shocked the pair, causing the doctor to express his interest in that not only he knew he and his partner are mechanical, but would also appear here, demanding he elaborate on how he came across this knowledge. But the Namek scoffs they'll have to beat that information out of him, the android happy to oblige. As the battle is about to begin, Goku realizes it would be a good idea to move the fight outside of the city into a deserted area, knowing there are too many innocent bystanders, his face already breaking a sweat. The doctor sees no issues with this, but assures there's no need to change locations. The young girl starting to cry at Dro's violence. Goku continues to shake with anger at his malevolence. Though the villain quells, he was only aiming to please by creating a deserted place to fight. Screaming they follow and he'll tear their foe apart. 19 claims that to be impossible, but the pair comply, figuring it's just Goku choosing his own place of death. But saying his name aloud. Ironically, the Z-Fighters are baffled, Tien questioning how they'd already have such knowledge. Dro insists that he knows all of them, naming each fighter present one by one, ushering further panic in the young warrior. As first responders move into the scene, Goku decides the time for questions is later, and they have to get moving. Making their way out of the city, Dro abruptly spouts, "Here is fine," as nothing here is different than what they'll find ahead. Though Chiyo thinks there has to be a reason they chose this place, noting how dry and rocky it is. Glancing over to her dad, she then wonders why he looks so tired already. Piccolo urging the gang mustn't underestimate their foes. Struggling to catch his breath, Goku demands the androids explain how they know he and the others. Warning he may regret this inquiry, the villain admits he's been spying on them for a long time, using tiny bug-like robots, during the Strongest Under the Heavens tournaments to the battles against Piccolo and Vegeta, and especially when he destroyed the Red Ribbon Army, though that knowledge was more firsthand. Realizing these two have a grudge against him, the old man spouts because of Goku, Red Ribbon is no more, vanquishing their dreams of conquering the world. Only Dr. Gero remained after the onslaught. When Piccolo quips, this man is speaking like he is Dr. Gero. And contrary to previous verbiage, he utters that claim is ridiculous, as he is Android 20, and Dr. Gero is no more. Moving the conversation, Goku asks if he managed to spy on him during his time on Namek as well. But by then, his foe claims there was no need. They had already a complete understanding of his strength and skills, even projecting the most extreme rate of improvement fathomable. They predicted the highest power he could possibly achieve. Smirking, our hero jeers it's a shame they didn't stick with their little project, as there's something huge they missed. Powering up. Everybody can't help but gawk at the energy emitting from Goku. The fighter commanding his allies they stay out of the battle, he's the one they want. 20 admitting this is quite an improvement, even far surpassing their calculations. But lucky for themselves, they're still up to the challenge, claiming even 19 alone can handle it. Quipping he'd like to see that for himself. All-stricken, Chiyo has never seen her father fight like this before, barely able to keep up. Realizing it's no wonder she can never beat him, even with all the training they did. Now wanting to become a Super Saiyan herself, shouting, "Yeah, Papa, get him!" Being able to compare transformation versus base power with improved perspective, Tien didn't know what being a Super Saiyan truly meant until this moment, stating he's in a different dimension compared to the rest of them. Piccolo somewhat agreeing, but something feels off, while the doctor looks on silently. Gohan and Yamcha arriving. The former calls out for his dad, but Tien assures him not to worry. Goku's power is incredible. Getting a strange feeling, Piccolo questions the boy if he senses it too, admitting he does. Not understanding why Goku is already rushing the battle, giving it everything he's got. Look how weak he is. The gang in disbelief. Yamcha shouts he was right. They can absorb ki using their hands. Chiyo gazing on blankly.
Goku, don't use energy attacks! They absorb your power! Do you understand?
Huffing and puffing, as if he just had the workout of a lifetime. Goku is astonished at this latest revelation. Even Krillin pointing out their ringer is acting weird, confused how his energy is drained so much already. Piccolo arguing they haven't even grabbed him yet. Alluring, it must be something else. Instinctively moving to counter with a Kamehameha, Piccolo bellows for him to stop, managing to do so at the last moment, as his children stand on the sidelines feeling helpless. Yamcha mentions he looks like he's in a lot of pain, sensing his power drop even, and clutching his chest. Gohan doesn't take more than a second to put the pieces together, shouting to everyone, it's his heart! As this information processes among the others, Piccolo remembers the conversation Goku had with that kid from the future, who explained something about a viral disease. Trying to retain his optimism, Krillin argues that couldn't be. The medicine had to have made him better. They just stole his ki is all. The young girl, wholly baffled by what everybody's talking about. The fighters coming to a standstill. Krillin launches a senzu bean in Goku's direction. Not hesitating, he immediately eats it. Dro, or 20, making a mental note. That must be one of the healing beans he documented previously. Though as Goku is still unable to catch his breath. The Z-Fighters realize the senzu had no effect. Gohan frantically wondering why the antivirus didn't work. Unless, since he never got sick, he never even bothered to take the medicine. As Chiyo goes to move in, Piccolo holds her back. But she screams they have to do something as tears fill her eyes. With his enemy's hand at his throat, draining him of all energy, Piccolo realizes it's now or never. The entire gang rushes over to help. The doctor urges they won't be able to get an inch past him, but welcomes all to try. Piccolo not intimidated, but is instantly put to the ground. 20 stating what the Namek did wasn't courageous, it was stupid. The humans amazed by his speed, but Chiyo mutters for the android to move. Just in time, Vegeta saves the day, claiming he is the one who's going to defeat Kakarot, and he won't lose his revenge to some cheap toys. The others completely aghast to see the Saiyan Prince. Piccolo even opening his eyes in shock. Getting up, he reveals his plan to fake his injury. Happily annoyed, Vegeta just had to butt in, suggesting he doesn't care how strong they are, it would take more than that to bring him down. While Goku struggles to retain consciousness, Vegeta spouts he saw everything. Aggravated, his rival chose to transform even knowing it would put more strain on his heart. Calling for someone to take him home and get him that medicine. Initially, his kids offer to transport him. Yamcha insists he do it instead. After all, he's probably the least useful here. Piccolo suggests the virus could be contagious, and Yamcha should take some of that medicine too. Heading off into the sky, the others can merely hope and pray he gets better. Piccolo only now realizing that with Trunks coming from the future, events may not play out exactly as he said they would. The timing of Goku's illness seems very different. His interference, in all likelihood, changed history. Again, greatly confusing the young girl. Her brother, unsure why their father didn't tell her everything. All she knew was some bad guys were coming and they had to fight him. From his observations, Vegeta is aware of everything 19 has to offer, believing his victory is assured. Though the android argues, the prince may have been watching this entire time, but has forgotten the most important thing. They've been watching Vegeta for years now. Laughing this off, he reminds, these villains seemed awfully surprised when Kakarot transformed, and all their mathematics and calculations in the world won't tell them everything they need to know, as Saiyans can't be reduced to mere numbers. Adorably, Chiyo can only wonder what a Kakarot is, Piccolo ushering her to pay attention, and she'll find out eventually. Curious if the androids can feel fear. Krillin admits how he could be a Super Saiyan, believing you had to have a pure heart, though Vegeta claims that to be the very case. His heart is pure evil, desiring nothing more than to be stronger, and during a training from hell, he would alas run into a wall of his own limits. In sheer rage towards himself, he awoke to a Super Saiyan. and overflowed with joy that he finally surpassed Kakarot. He himself could be the true Saiyan Messiah. But 20 has had enough of this small talk. Believing transformation or no, he'll be stricken down just like Goku. Letting him get a free hit. Vegeta mutters to his foe, he's fortunate, machines can't feel pain. Knocking 19 to the ground with a flurry of attacks. The prince taunts, "What's the matter?" questioning if his scrap metal brain messed up the calculations after all. And with Vegeta taking the edge over 19, our manga runs out. But just as in the original series, he would go on to easily win the battle. Now believing he stands no chance, Dr. Gero would flee, as events play out normally until reaching the Imperfect Cell Saga. At Kame House, Chiyo begins training once again, but not long later, dire news pops up on the TV as the entire population of Ginger Town has mysteriously vanished, leaving only clothing behind. Gohan and Trunks returning from their investigation of the second time machine, the gang sense a slew of power levels coming from the afflicted city. Krillin and Trunks head that direction to find out what's going on. Unknown to them, Chiyo sneaks out and follows close behind. The crew would meet up with Piccolo upon their arrival to the metropolis, discovering Cell in the process. Using the solar flare to make his escape, Vegeta would arrive shortly. And after Piccolo explains what he's learned to the others, the prince angrily promises to transcend the Super Saiyan state before flying away. While Krillin and Trunks go to destroy Gero's lab containing the fetal version of this timeline cell, Tien and Chiyo split up to look for the monster itself. Heading to the north, the young girl is the first to encounter the creature, saving a teenage boy in the process. Naturally, proving no match for the biological android, she's only saved by the sudden appearance of Tien and Piccolo. But once again, the bug gets away. At this point, the Namek admits to himself the girl is a liability, despite what Goku may think, telling her to go back to Kame House to protect her father. 3 days pass. The others venture by plane to search for Cell in order to suppress their ki. Around this time, Goku would awaken fully recovered, already aware of everything that's happened. Hearing the others talk while he was out, he transports he and his daughter to the aircraft, admitting he's no match for these new androids, bringing us to the room of spirit and time. Gathering Vegeta and Trunks, as well as taking his 2 children, the 5 of them appear at the lookout. Since only 2 can enter at a time, Vegeta and Trunks go first. The next day, Goku plans for himself and Gohan, which leaves Chiyo the odd man out, hoping Piccolo would be willing to train her on the 3rd day. About 24 hours pass. The gang sense the Namek battling one of the androids. He would soon fall, and Cell manages to absorb 17. Delayed by Tien's surprise Kiko Ho marathon, 16 and 18 try to escape. Swooping in to save his friends at the last minute, they're both healed with a couple of sensus, back at the lookout. It's now when Goku requests Piccolo train Chiyo, who agrees. Popo alerts Vegeta and Trunks are now emerging from the chamber. As the father-son combo rush off to face semi-perfect Cell, Gohan and Goku take their turn. Though not much would change in the world below, as Vegeta's arrogance costs the Earth yet again, letting the monster absorb 18, becoming complete. The usual events would play out before the Cell games are announced. Goku and Gohan stepping out of the room not long later. Chiyo would one day remember her year there herself would be one of the toughest of her life. Just as he did with her brother, Piccolo pushed the girl to her limits and beyond, believing Goku is far too soft on her, and knowing they must unleash her full potential. Through meditation and various training regimens, that year would come to pass. Finding the Earth a new guardian in Dende, who immediately grants the planet a new Shenron, Chiyo asks her father to bring her along to collect the Dragon Balls. Encountering Tao Pai Pai, familiar antics ensue, only this time with Chiyo by his side. After gathering them all, the Cell games begin a few days later. Goku inevitably throwing in the towel and ushering his son to the arena. As Gohan would struggle initially, Goku at times would have to physically restrain Chiyo from intervening. It was only now revealed the girl to be a Super Saiyan. As the fight wore on, the Cell Juniors were released on the Z Warriors. Chiyo, unable to return to her transformation, takes a beating. But ultimately, Gohan would twice overcome the evil android, though still at the sacrifice of his father, leaving the Dragon World to put itself in place over the next 7 years. During the Buu arc, Goten would be introduced, giving him and his big sister some very endearing interactions. While world building and character development would differ slightly from canon, the story itself remains mostly intact, with Kid Buu being defeated by the Spirit Bomb. And years later, on May 6, age 784, Chiyo is now a young adult, around 23 years old. The gang once again gather at the Tenkaichi Budokai. Upon facing Noob in the ring, and even beforehand, Goku knew his potential, and the two fly off to train, as the Earth would one day need a new savior. As a young girl would watch her grandfather disappear into the sky, Chiyo would pick her up off the ground, promising Pan her aunt will be here to teach her everything she needs to know about fighting. And that was the quick summarized story of Son Chiyo, daughter of a warrior. It would have been fun to give a precise, detailed version of the story, but already being well past the normal length I'd normally write scripts, I figured this would be a good way to just hit the key points. If you want to read this fanfic yourself, check out the links in the description featuring ArtByLux /WhiteThornWolf /Asher Abrahams. The story itself is more than 135,000 words, which for me would roughly translate into 5 hours of video, if that helps you understand why I did things this way. But I'm gonna go grab some water and catch a nap after recording this. Thank you so much for supporting this channel and this community, and I'll catch you next time.